Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Straight Out of Boston here, and today I'm back for episode number 22 of my Dallas Cowboys franchise series here on Madden NFL 19. So we're taking a look at the schedule for the rest of the season. I mentioned I'm going to play a couple more games, few more games from this regular season, simming the rest. And in our last game against the Cardinals, DeMarcus Lawrence winning NFC Defensive Player of the Week with his 4-sack performance. So we are simming this matchup against the Los Angeles Rams, a rematch of the conference championship game last year. And I didn't want to play this matchup again because I played it twice at the end of the regular season last year, in the last week of the regular season and in the playoffs, of course. So I didn't really want to show another game against them, although they are a very good team. You can see they tie up the score at 27 late, but Dak leads the offense down the field in the 2-minute offense towards the end of the game for the game-winning field goal that was kicked through by John Barron, and that gave us the 30-27 win after the Rams had led 20-13 entering the fourth quarter, and then we scored 14 unanswered, went up by 7. The Rams came down the field towards the end of the game, last part of the fourth quarter, tied up the score at 27, but left just enough time for Prescott to lead the offense down the field and give John Barron a chance to give us another win, and we are now 6-1 on this season, and we're playing our next matchup, our second game in third week that I'm going to be playing. It is against the Baltimore Ravens, a team that's 6-1 so far this season. But before we get into that, we're taking a look at the upcoming free agents, and the name that stood out on this list the most to me was Chidobe Awuzie, guy I knew I wanted to bring back. My initial offer was good enough for him, so he re-signs on a 4-year, $42 million deal. I feel like that's a pretty good price for a guy who I think can be a #1 corner. And we're also taking a look at who is available on the trade block, in particular the wide receivers, because I think the one thing that this offense is really missing is the burner type, the guy who can stretch the defense a little bit. We don't really have anyone who runs like probably even a sub-4 440 time. So I had my eye on Curtis Samuel and Kiki Kuti, and I ended up going with Curtis Samuel because basically I decided I was going to give up Antoine Moody. I drafted him in this previous draft, but I have Tavon Coney. I was thinking about getting rid of one of them in one of these trades since Carolina was interested in an outside linebacker. Houston didn't really have the kind of interest in any sort of position that we had, like depth that we could trade away from. So it's not really that I preferred Curtis Samuel over Kiki Kuti, because even though Kuti is not quite as fast as Samuel, he does have that quick development, and he has one more year left on his, contract more than Samuel, I believe. Samuel's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. I think Kuti would have one more year beyond this. So it really would have been a toss-up, but we were just a better match with Carolina, and I decided to trade Antoine Moody away just because he's so slow, and Coney is also slow. I'm never going to play those guys together on the field at the same time. They certainly would work as subs for one another, but Moody is so slow. I think he was only 74, 75 speed. I don't even think that really plays at linebacker at the NFL level, so I was fine moving on from him and actually got an extra 5th-round pick out of it too. That's how little Samuel is valued by Carolina. So that's the only trade I'm going to end up making before the trade deadline, which will come and pass after this game, which is our 8th of the season. We're taking on the Ravens, who are also 6-1. They are towards the top of the AFC, as we are towards the top of the NFC, of course. And this is a pretty good matchup. Of course, you know, we only play the AFC North once every 4 years. So I figured if they have a very good team like it seems Baltimore is, then I would face off against them. And they're led by Lamar Jackson. No more Joe Flacco. Jackson, he kind of has, I feel like, a little bit of a reputation in this year's Madden game. He sort of turns into like a pretty good game manager for Baltimore down the road in some of these franchises. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot, and you know, he's a weapon with his legs just as much as he is with his arm, because his speed is good enough that it plays at the NFL level, unlike a lot of guys who are scramblers first in college. But anyway, we're driving down the field here. We held Baltimore to a field goal on their first drive, and we are now driving down the field later in the first quarter. Prescott is going to try and roll out to the left, but a good contain by Tyson Bauer, who set the edge there and did not let Prescott escape the pocket. He gets the sack and a big loss. 2nd and 23, however, Prescott's going to go for it all. He's got Edelman, who strides into the end zone for the touchdown. Prescott beating the zone coverage there with the 4 verticals look by the Cowboy offense, and Now the offense getting to celebrate in the end zone on their home field against this Baltimore defense, which has relinquished the lead. Now it's Dallas 7-3, and Jalen Smith making a play. That was a nice little user pick. I'll shout myself out for that one. Tracked the, I think that was a little slant route pretty well, and Smith making the play, showing off the athleticism. But after a holding call made it 1st and 20, this is going to make it 2nd and even longer after another sack for Bowser. 3rd and 27. We already had a long second down conversion for the touchdown earlier in the game. This time, however, good coverage by Baltimore. Prescott is just going to scramble and concede the drive here, as we would have to punt this one away. Baltimore with the ball back beginning of the 2nd quarter. Play action, and an inaccurate pass from Jackson brings up 4th down. So we would get the ball back rather easily, as the defense looking strong early against this Baltimore attack. Prescott now back out on the field. He scrambles to the right. This time gets out of the pocket. Gets a little bit of a block downfield. He's got the 1st down and just a little bit more, as the clock ticks under 8 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. Now Prescott moving to his left a little bit. Fires it down the field on 3rd and very long. But good coverage by Marlon Humphrey. He was tracking the intended target, Kelvin Harmon, all the way. So a punt for the Cowboys. It's Chris Jones out. And this is looking like a good one. Takes a very team-friendly bounce inside of the 5. DeAndre Baker, good attempt at downing that, but it would end up just staying right at the 4-yard line, which is where the Ravens would take over. However, this a good field position is almost given right back after a face mask call on that 2nd down run play. Gives Baltimore a little bit better field position, still not that great. And 3rd and 10 from the 24. Jackson nowhere to go, and he is brought down by Randy Gregory for his 1st sack of the afternoon. So another punt away, as our defense continuing to look pretty good, not struggling with the speed or anything of Jackson. And this was a pretty good punt return for Julian Edelman. Again, special teams giving us the field position advantage so far in this game. Here's a 2nd and 3, little dump off to Elliott, who gets to the outside and gets just enough to give us a fresh set of downs. A 3rd and 6 later in the drive. There is a completion to, that looks like Javian Stevens, the rookie receiver for the Cowboys this year. Now it is Ezekiel Elliott getting the handoff on 2nd down, runs up the middle, picks up 16. He's had an efficient day so far, as is very typical for Elliott in these user games, but he does not get into the end zone here. 4th down coming up from the 3. We're keeping the offense on the field. You know I like to go for it in these goal line situations, and that is going to be incomplete, jarred loose. Jalen Smith had his hands on the ball, but it was knocked free by the Raven defender, so the Ravens take over. Still a 1-score game. The defense pressuring them right along the goal line. They do not rule that a safety from the 1-yard line. We're going to bring the blitz once again. They go to the fullback, and this time it is a safety. The flag would be holding, which we wouldn't even have a chance to accept or decline. They would call that one either way. So it is going to be 9-3 now. Dallas with the lead, and we've got a little bit of time left in the 2nd quarter to try and get even more points, as Prescott trying to move these offense quickly as he finds Edelman over the middle. We're going to use our 2nd timeout at 36 seconds left to play in the 2nd quarter. Baltimore showing blitz. They do blitz. Prescott gets rid of it quickly to Harmon, but the clock continues to run. And now, with the clock still ticking, 25 seconds, looking Caden Smith. And again, Baltimore with the zone, and it was beaten by Prescott. He found his right man, as he did that on those last 2 throws, really, and of course on the touchdown earlier. So Prescott playing pretty well in this 1st half against a good Baltimore defense. Like I said, Baltimore, they play a little bit similar to the way we play, kind of defense and ball control. But look at those 1st half stats. Look at the total yards for Baltimore. And, of course, only the 3 points. We have been dominating this football game. So we'll try to keep that up in this 2nd half. You can see Jackson with now just 58 yards passing after that completion. And on 1st and 10, he gets sacked. This time it's DeMarcus Lawrence getting back there for his 1st of the afternoon. 3rd and 22 now, a couple plays later. And it's Jackson in the pocket looking for his check down. I believe that's Hayden Hurst, the now 3rd-year tight end, who is going to fall out of bounds, leading to 4th down. So we have the ball back. Edelman on the crossing route. He's got a pickup of just about 10 yards there. Give him 11 as he fought for the 1st down. Now later on in the drive, it is Elliott getting the outside handoff, and he spins around a defender, picks up 10 plus. Another fresh set of downs for the Cowboys. Holding penalty would set up 1st and 20 here, but we're looking to Caden Smith to get most of that yardage back, 16 to be exact. 2 plays later, 3rd and 4 from the 45. Prescott looking short, and it's intercepted. It is Ballard jumping the throw on the wheel route, and he almost takes it all the way back. Prescott is there, along with Antoine Walden, the right tackle, to bring down the defender, but it would not matter because first play for the Ravens, it's a perfect pass from Lamar Jackson to A.J. Brown, who was picked in the top 10 in the 2019 draft for the Ravens in this franchise, as he has turned into a pretty nice #1 threat. He would have been the guy I would have loved to get in that draft, but unfortunately was not picking high enough. So anyway, bad turnover there, just kind of predetermined my throw and didn't even see the defensive back hovering next to Elliott. And he almost, well, basically did turn that into 6 points. And then another interception. This time it was, honestly, I'm going to blame that one on kind of a bad throw from Prescott, but it was picked up by Jimmy Smith, as this is going to give the Ravens the ball back once again, trying to take advantage. That ball's fumbled. Crawford couldn't quite pick it up. It looks like that's Marshall Yanda, I believe, grabbing it off of the turf right there. Jackson now scrambling on 3rd and 27. Tries to get free, but Kashawn Wright sets the edge there and does not let him get to the sideline. Picks up his first sack. That might be the first of his career, to be honest, as he brings down Jackson. Now we're going back to the ground game. 2 straight turnovers for Prescott, trying to control the ball for the rest of this one. Our defense has played so well, we don't need to give Baltimore any free points because they are having a tough time earning them against RD. And it's Prescott taking off. That's a big run. Give him, I think, 23 on that play, as he gets it all the way down to the 26. But a few plays later, it's 3rd and 15. Prescott looking right side, and it's Ballard again, trying to beat the zone coverage. Samuel was going to the sideline, but Prescott didn't quite get enough under that one, as he couldn't get it over the leaping Ballard for his 2nd pick of the game. 3rd straight possession that ends in a Prescott pick. But the defense continuing to play well. Saffold bringing down Jackson as he rushed in quickly when he saw Jackson scramble outside the pocket. Now 2 plays later, it's a 3rd and 17. Jackson firing short, and it falls incomplete anyway. So another punt away. This time we get exceptional field position inside the 40. We are with a 3rd and 7, and it's Edelman brought down short of the first down, but it is going to be a face mask, and that is going to give the Cowboys the first down. So a gift from the Ravens there. And now later in the drive, inside of the 20, under 8 minutes to play. Prescott looking right side. He's got Caden Smith up, pickup of a first down inside the 5. They go from the 3, 2nd and goal. Prescott firing quickly, and it's Jalen Smith in the end zone, and that puts the Cowboys back up by 2 scores, 22-10. Now the defense can go back to doing its thing, and this has quite honestly been one of the most impressive performances by this defense that I have seen in what has been a long list of impressive performances going back to the past couple of seasons, as Lawrence now is up to 3 sacks so far. This 4th and 19 is actually going to be complete to A.J. Brown, and the Ravens get a little something going on this drive, as you guys are going to see, but this was really the first time they were able to move the ball at all. They had a little bit on the first drive when they got the field goal to go up 3-0, and that is something that happens to me in Madden games. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit slow to lock in off the rip, so to say. And watch this. You just saw that tipped catch by the running back, Jeremy Hill. Well, watch it happen 2 plays in a row. How about that? That was some all Madden cheese right there. So I'm talking about these garbage yards that Baltimore is picking up at the end of this game. But a 3rd and 12 is stuffed on the handoff to Rob Kelly. So 4th and 12, and they are going to go for it, needing 2 touchdowns to try and come back here. And a good play by Xavier Woods. That falls incomplete. 4th down, offense back out on the field, and we were able to run the clock out from there and lock down the 22-10 victory. All credit going to the defense. Look at that, a total of just 109 yards of total offense for Baltimore. They averaged 3 yards a play, had negative rushing yards, and if it wasn't for the Prescott turnovers, this game wouldn't have even been close. And you can see the final stats here. Elliott didn't get him the ball enough, quite honestly. Only 19 touches, but he had 116 yards. Edelman had a good game. I mentioned before in a previous video, but he's starting to emerge as the year's gone on as a key piece in this offense, playing that role in the slot as the slot receiver. And defensively, 3 more sacks for DeMarcus Lawrence. So that is going to do it. I'm going to show the stats now, actually, so far this season, because we're halfway through after that week. We're 7-1, 8 games in. So I wanted to show basically where everyone's at halfway through the year. Prescott on pace for 4,000 yards and 26 touchdowns to 13 interceptions it would be, or to 12 interceptions it would be, excuse me. Rushing wise, Elliott having another good year, but the usage is down for him, which I'm actually I'm happy with. That's what I want. I don't want him getting as many touches. I don't want him to get hurt more than anything else, because we're going to need him to make another Super Bowl run. And you saw the receiving stats, kind of like usual. Spreading the wealth is what Prescott's been doing so far. And defensively, it's the usual suspects leading the way in some of those categories. So that is going to do it. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Thanks for watching, and so I'm out.